Hey everybody, welcome back. We're going to continue with more Skyrim. In the last part, we stepped through the portal into the Soul Cairn, and since I chose not to be a vampire, I have this weakened soul effect which reduces health, magicka, and stamina by 45 and makes it recover slower. But all around the dotted area are these things called soul husks. What are soul husks? Well, I think they fall into the food category, strangely enough. But you'll see it interrupts the soul drain effect on the Soul Cairn and will resist 10% of magic for 10 seconds. So if I eat one, here we go, protect soul. Interrupts the soul drain effect and resists 10% of magic. You know, descending down these stairs from a high up spot into a darkened hellscape like this seems kinda familiar to Cousina. I wonder why. Alright, that's not too helpful. So even though I've been weakened a little by coming into the Soul Cairn, it shouldn't affect me too much. If I can hit that thing. As you can see, I still have free magicka for casting destruction spells. Who is? I can't get in there. Or can I? Yeah, if I hit these, it opens this gate and I can walk in. Inside, there's a steel dagger of shocks, a lesser soul gem, and Giub's Opus, page 8. Remember, in the end, 76 cliff racers are slaughtered. I was knee-deep in their corpses and my body on the verge of collapse, but I had survived. I smiled to the heavens and all went black. When I awoke, all I felt was my back on a cold stone floor. Every muscle in my body was on fire and my vision was blurred. Slowly I tried to climb to my feet. It took several agonizing. There we go. I want to take it because I think you're supposed to find all of them. There's a glowing mushroom in here as well as a filled greater soul gem. A black soul gem in there. So yeah, apparently this place, the Soul Cairn, is where souls go after they've been soul-trapped and then used for enchanting. We're here because I have to locate Valerica, which is Serana's mother, the one who locked her up.
The screams. They pierce my mind. I can't stand it.
Bone man, eh? I'll show you. Yeah, a soul gem and some antlers. I'll take them. They disintegrate into what are called soul embers.
Only those who have suffered long can find the light within the shadows.
Uh-huh.
You must help me find my Arvak. He doesn't deserve to be in a place like this.
Calm down. Who's Arvak?
Arvak, my horse. We came to this horrible place together. We were attacked by monsters, so I told him to run. Please, he's such a loyal creature, and he's been running for so long. You have to save him. A place like this will change you.
Alright, so how can I help him?
Arvak? Arvak! Where are you? Arvak, please come back! Come back!
Well, that's not much help.
Until next time.
So find Arvak's soul in the skull in the Soul Cairn. So I'll go ahead and add that to the miscellaneous quests.
I've heard stories about the Soul Cairn. I never thought I'd see it myself. So far, it's about what I imagined.
Alright, I think this quest kind of gets a bit glitchy since sometimes the quest marker for finding Arvak's skull doesn't appear. So I might have to look up where it is, like I did last time I was here when on another character and I was testing the Armageddon mod, and I came into the Soul Cairn. There's another page of Giub's Opus here, the first page. I am a hunter, I am a redeemer, I am Giub. The tale of my rise to glory begins in the ash wastes of Morrowind. Yeah, because he actually was a character in Morrowind, if I remember right. I rode alone, weapon at my side, and the burning wind stinging my face. My quest was arduous, but necessary to ensure the survival of the Dunmer people. A pestilence was creeping across the ashlands. I climbed up to the top of this tower over here, and it looks like there's no way across to that chest, except maybe to go around this way, but I do have the wind running spell. I could always just activate it and run over there. Even with weakened stamina, it looks like it held. In the chest is a black soul gem, a Daedra heart, a greater soul gem, and a spider egg. And the crystal on the top kind of drains all your stuff, that big soul gem there, but as you saw, it didn't affect me too much. One problem with wind running is it does rely on my stamina, and, well, the stamina is kind of lowered while I'm in the Soul Cairn. But fixing that is one of the reasons I'm here. There's also a soul fissure here. If I touch it, it'll say soul harvested. And what that will do is it will fill one of my soul gems. I think it will fill one of the biggest ones I have. Since I have a black soul gems, it filled one of those. Here's another fun thing. There's a lightning attractor here. It says greater soul gems can be placed on the apparatus. So I'll put a greater soul gem on it. Search the chest. And you'll see the lightning turned into a black soul gem.
Where'd you come from?
And also summoned this Wrath Man. Show him. Anyone else? Now he's running. You can see I can ash pile them, even though killing the enemies in the Soul Cairn usually results in them turning into soul puddles, or soul embers as they're called. On top of another tower with one of those draining crystals is Geobe's Opus, Part 3, I think. Tracking what I call a lingerer, a cliff racer without a nest. He was a particularly feisty one, too, leading me on a merry chase across almost 3 miles of ash dunes. I had managed to take a piece out of one of his wings in an earlier scuffle, so he couldn't maintain much of a climb, but he had still a bit of stamina left and was trying to make me tire of the chase. Almost 2 solid hours passed at my silt. And that's the end of that note. Yeah, these things, they can drain your health and magicka and such, but I think if you eat one of the soul husks, yeah, it won't have that effect for 10 seconds. Though it's still having that effect on Serana, even though she's a vampire. Hey, there's a horse running around. Wonder if that's Arvak. Kinda looks like him. If I use long stride, I should be able to follow the horse. Disappears here. There's a skeleton here, as well as this guy, Maven Stored.
Someone with flesh on their bones.
Man, I intend to keep it. What's the matter with you?
Let's just say I sold something to a guy who turned out to work for a whole coven of necromancers. How in the name of Zenithar was I to know the ingredients were phony? Do I look like someone that would double-cross a necromancer?
So, is that how you got here?
You got it. Horse, wagon, and all. Plopped here without so much as a word. I used to be one of the best traders in High Rock, you know. How people would track me down just to see what I had for sale.
So, you got anything left to sell?
Very funny. What exactly are you going to pay me with? Take a look around. Gold doesn't exactly win you any friends around here.
Yeah, probably not. There must be something here you want.
I'll tell you what. I appreciate what you're trying to do, so I'll play along. The only thing I see around here in abundance are soul husks. You know, those ugly fungus-looking things growing out of the ground. Bring me, say, 25 of them, and you can rummage through what was left on my cart.
Alright, that's fair enough.
used together before all of this nonsense happened to me. Tell me what you're looking for, and maybe we can make a deal. If you have the husks.
Alright, I don't have 25 husks yet, but I'll collect them.
No husks, no sale. Guess you have some scavenging to do.
That's fine. I'll be back.
Can't imagine choosing to come here. Your mother must have been terrified.
Here we go. I've located the spot where Arvak's skull is located. Some mist men are trying to guard it from me, but I can get past them to clear it out, no problem. Yeah, they're not so tough. So now we take the skull, and I gotta return Arvak's skull to its owner, which is right over here. That'll make it easy.
Arvak! You saved him! His soul is free, I can feel it! He's such a loyal beast. Here, I'll teach you how to call him to you. He'll
There we
help
go.
you get
I get
to
this
the
spell,
right place.
Summon Arvak.
But I'm sure he'd be much happier someplace sunnier. Goodbye, hero. Take good care of Arvak for me. Such a good horse.
So let's show off this. It's a new, I think it's a conjure spell. There it is, Summon Arvak. This will summon Arvak from the Soul Cairn to act as my steed. Since I'm in the Soul Cairn, I can still summon him here, but I can also summon him once I leave. Basically, it gives me an undead horse to ride around on. What this means is even if I lose my current horse, I could still use the spell to summon Arvak whenever I need him. Now that I've found the one thing I really wanted from the Soul Cairn, aside from fixing Cousina, which we can do later, let's head in here. There's Valerica.
Mother!
Maker? What is this, Dragon Age?
Is it really you? I can't believe it. How do we get inside? We have to talk.
Serana, what are you doing here? Where's your father?
He doesn't know we're here. I don't have time to explain.
I must have failed. Harkon's found a way to decipher the prophecy, hasn't he?
No, you've got it all wrong. We're here to stop him. To make everything right.
Wait a moment. You've brought a stranger here? Have you lost your mind?
No, you don't.
You, come forward. I would speak with you.
I am forward.
So how has it come to pass that a vampire hunter is in the company of my daughter? It pains me to think you'd travel with Serana under the guise of her protector in an effort to hunt me down.
I've saved her from your silly plan.
I find your choice of words quite interesting, considering that Serana is in far more danger now than she was following my foolish plan. Serana has sacrificed everything to prevent Harkon from completing the prophecy. I would have expected her to explain that to you.
That's why we're here for the Elder Scroll.
You think I'd have the audacity to place my own daughter in that tomb for the protection of her Elder Scroll alone? The scrolls are merely a means to an end. The key to the tyranny of the sun is Serana herself.
How is Serana the key to the tyranny of the sun prophecy?
When I fled Castle Volkahar, I fled with 2 Elder Scrolls. The scroll I presume you found with Serana speaks of Ariel and his arcane weapon, Ariel's bow.
That would be the Elder Scroll
The
Sun.
second scroll declares that the blood of Cold Harbor's daughter will blind the eye of the dragon.
And how does Serana fit in there?
Like myself, Serana was a human once. We were devout followers of Lord Molig Bal. Tradition dictates the females be offered to Molig Bal on his summoning day. Few survive the ordeal. Those that do emerge as a pure-blooded vampire. We call such confluences the Daughters of Cold Harbor.
So, the tyranny of the sun requires Serana's blood. Is that why you sealed her up?
Now you're beginning to see why I wanted to protect Serana, and why I've kept the other Elder Scroll as far from her as possible.
Are you saying Harkon means to kill her?
If Harkon obtained Ariel's bow, and Serana's blood was used to taint the weapon, the tyranny of the sun would be complete. In his eyes, she'd be dying for the good of all vampires.
Well, I'm not going to allow that to happen.
And how exactly do you plan on stopping him?
I'll just kill him. Why not?
If you believe that, then you're a bigger fool than I originally suspected. Don't you think I weighed that option before I enacted my plans?
Okay. Well, have you actually tried? I mean, I've got plenty of weapons and spells that work great on vampires. Why do you think I joined the Vampire Hunter Guild? And what do you think Serana will think of this?
You care nothing for Serana, or our plight. Whether or not you've become one of us in order
I
to
have not.
survive the Soul Cairn, you're still a vampire hunter at heart. You're here because we're abominations in your mind. Evil creatures that need to be destroyed.
Serena believes in me enough to bring me here, so you're saying you can't?
Serana, a stranger, aligns herself with those that would hunt you down and slay you like an animal. Yet I should entrust you to her.
This stranger has done more for me in the brief time I've known her than you've done in centuries.
How dare you? I gave up everything I cared about to protect you from that fanatic you call a father.
Yes, he's a fanatic. He's changed. But he's still my father. Why can't you understand how that makes me feel?
If you only open your eyes, the moment your father discovers your role in the prophecy, that he needs your blood, you'll be in terrible danger.
So to protect me, you decided to shut me away from everything I cared about. You never asked me if hiding me in that tomb was the best course of action. You just expected me to follow you blindly. Both of you were obsessed with your own paths. Your motivations might have been different, but in the end, I'm still just a pawn to you two. I want us to be a family again. But I don't know if we can ever have that. Maybe we don't deserve that kind of happiness. Maybe it isn't for us. But we have to stop him before he goes too far. And to do that, we need the Elder Scroll.
I'm sorry, Serana. I didn't know. I didn't see. I've allowed my hatred of your father to estrange us for too long. Forgive me. If you want the Elder Scroll, it's yours. Your intentions are still somewhat unclear to me. But for Serana's sake, I'll assist you in any way that I can.
So, do you have this Elder Scroll with you?
Yes. I've kept it safely secured here ever since I was imprisoned. Fortunately, you're in a position to breach the barrier that surrounds these ruins.
Alright, what do we need to do?
You need to locate the tallest of the rocky spires that surround these ruins. At their bases, the barrier's energy is being drawn from unfortunate souls that have been exiled here. Destroy the keepers that are tending them, and it should bring the barrier down.
I'll be back.
One more word of warning. There's a dragon that calls itself Durnavir roaming the cairn. Be wary of him.
I'm not afraid of any
The
dragon.
masters have charged him with overseeing the keepers, and will undoubtedly intervene if you're perceived as a threat.
I am a threat. I'm surprised they haven't already noticed that. So, what would happen if I left the Soul Cairn? Would I be able to come back here?
As you've been traveling in the Soul Cairn, your body has become attuned to it. Let's just say a tiny part of you rubbed off on it, and in its place, a bit of the Soul Cairn filled the void. You should find no difficulty using the portal any longer.
And how'd you get imprisoned here?
When I entered the Soul Cairn, I had intended to strike a bargain with the Ideal Masters, the custodians of this place.
What was the bargain?
I requested refuge in the Soul Cairn, and in exchange, I would provide the Ideal Masters the souls that they crave. If I had foreseen the value they placed on my own soul, I would never have come
They tricked you.
here. The Ideal Masters unleashed their keepers and sent them to destroy me. Fortunately, I was able to hold them at bay and retreat into these ruins.
So you trapped yourself?
Unfortunately, yes. Since the Keepers weren't able to claim my soul, they had their minions construct a barrier that I'd never be able to breach.
So you've been imprisoned here this whole time.
Time has very little meaning to me. Consequently, it has little meaning to the Ideal Masters as well. I suppose you could call this the ultimate waiting game. Each watching the other to see which will give in.
Who are these Ideal Masters, anyway?
I know very little about them. They're mystic entities that lord over the Soul Cairn, controlling every aspect from its fabric to its appearance.
What do they resemble?
Well, some necromancers believe they are the crystalline structures dotting the Soul Cairn. I believe there's more to it than that.
How so?
I think they transcend what we perceive as a physical form. Perhaps they were once corporeal beings, but they've obviously reached a point where they no longer require a tangible presence.
And all those crystals?
Conduits, through which the Ideal Masters speak to their underlings and feed on their victims.
Why would they need sustenance anyway?
The Ideal Masters' weakness is their insatiable hunger for pure souls. It's the reason for the Soul Cairn's existence, and the only leverage a necromancer has when bargaining with them.
And what do the Masters provide in return?
The ability to summon powerful undead guardians, as one would conjure an Atronath or Daedra. However, the majority of necromancers that are foolish enough to enter into a bargain with the Ideal Masters wind up here as harvested souls.
About this prophecy of the blood, what made you not want to pursue it?
Harkon's vision is a world plunged in eternal darkness, where the vampire can flourish and never again fear the tyranny of the sun. What he fails to realize is how much attention would be called to our kind if the prophecy came to fruition.
What sort of attention?
If eternal night fell, there are many who wouldn't stand for it. They would raise armies in attempts to return things to normal. The order of the day would be our destruction, until every last vampire was hunted down and eliminated.
So you'd prefer hiding in the shadows?
I do. It's how the vampire has survived for millennia, and the only way we can continue to survive in the future.
I mean, with people like me running around that are really powerful and capable of wiping out entire armies of vampires on their own, yeah, I can see why you'd want that.
And keep my daughter safe.
Yeah, I'll do what I can.
Let's kill those keeper things and get back to the prison.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, the reason I'm cutting a lot of parts here is that this is what you're missing. Me using long stride to run long distances across this map where there are no enemies and nothing happens. Exciting, isn't it? Yeah, maybe a couple of enemies or two might show up, but they're not really a match for me, as I'll demonstrate. Even in the weakened state that the Soul Cairn puts me in because I went for the Soul Trap instead of becoming a vampire, these bone men still stand no chance against Cousina. This is interesting. There's a coin purse here, and a soul.
Tables, I thought you looked a little portly in that gown. How was I supposed to know?
Yeah, I dealt with Potema back in Solitude.
Get back to the prison.
Yeah, we're gonna do that, Serana. I got one-handed 82. There we go. Serana really felt that one. The big blast from the light of Meridia. One thing I didn't get to do was sell off a bunch of items.
I think I could be.
That's a good idea. Bringing me along was probably the right call. Well, the quest indicator's telling me I'm near one of the keepers I'm supposed to fight. There it is. Let's see how he likes a lightning storm. Oh yeah, that got him. Let's see, he had a Dragonbone mace on him. Yeah, interestingly, the Dragonbone weapons are a higher tier than the Daedric weapons, but at the same time, the Daedric armor is still better. I personally don't want that Dragonbone mace. If I do get to 100 smithing, I don't even know if I'll craft a Dragonbone weapon, but we'll see what happens. Go ahead and lower this gate. Do one of those. More skeletons to blow up. And again, since those things don't even hurt me that much, and I'm saving up, I can just run up to the chest and collect what I want, which includes a Reaper Gem fragment. I'm assuming this is something. I already found one of them in a previous chest, so that makes 2. I'm sure they're used for something. I'll figure out what. Oh yeah, there's also this barrier here that I can't cross through, so I just gotta find another way to go. Yeah, I found this altar where there was a bunch of bone men guarding. There's a spell tome here. Conjure Bone Man. I can pick it up and read it, and that gives me the ability to conjure a Bone Man Archer from the Soul Cairn. So we'll go ahead and learn that spell. Here's what the Bone Man looks like when you conjure it. Of course, I can always also conjure Dark Seducer Archers and Golden Saint Archers now. So if I ever need extra ranged backup, I've got options, I suppose. I only got enough soul husks now. I can go back to this guy, Morven Stroud.
Brought some soul husks, or are you wasting my time?
I've got the soul husks.
Well, I've been so busy, I don't know. What, are you kidding me?
I can offer him things. Give me a spell tome.
Sure, here you go. Can't understand a word of it. Maybe it will do you some good.
Alright, let's see what he gave me. Decomposed. It's a restoration spell. Curses a non-mechanical target for 60 seconds, allowing allies within 10 feet of the target to absorb 15 points of health per second from the target. Huh. Not too bad. I'll go ahead and learn that spell. I just noticed near the thing right here is another one of Geoub's opuses, the 10th page. About to strike me down in anger for my somewhat sordid past, suddenly I understood everything. Suddenly I realized that I was brought here for a reason. I should have died in those ash wastes, but Lord Vivek must have seen something inside me that he hadn't seen in millennia and decided to spare me from my fate. Thus began my ascent to sainthood. Thus began the rise of Geoub. Alright, we're now approaching the next keeper that I gotta fight. Should be around here somewhere. I'm guessing those ghosts firing a beam into that tower there has something to do with it. There he is. Here we go. Check this out. This spell cannot be written. Well, that's no good. Do I have a spell that can? In that case, we'll give him Fingers of the Mountain. And see how he likes Lightning Storm. Knock him down so that he can't come hit me and interrupt this. That's right, feel it. That keeper's toast. He had a grand black soul gem on him, as well as a Dragonbone battle axe. Oh, hey, on my way to the last keeper, I found Geoub. Let's talk to him.
Did I call it the Great Hunt? Or was it just the hunt? I can't remember. What do you want?
Why does he sound like Desmond from the Point Lookout DLC for Fallout 3? What are you doing out here?
How does anyone expect me to write my opus with all of these rude interruptions?
He's got a lot of the same attitude as Desmond as well. What do you mean by opus?
What do I mean, indeed? If I hadn't lost all of the pages, I wouldn't be in this predicament, and we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Well, I found some of the pages. Let's start at the beginning.
Very well. I suppose a moment or two of my time couldn't hurt.
I mean, what else do you got here but time?
And Chid. Some call me Saint Chid. Others call me Jib the Eradicator.
Jib the Eradicator.
Heard of me?
Yeah, he's actually from Morrowind, but yeah, Cousina's never heard of him before.
I can't say that I'm surprised by your answer. Until I've set the bar punished, no one will ever know of my achievements.
You're talking about a book you're writing.
A book? I'd hardly call a 26-volume epic simply...
26 volumes.
Surely you've heard of The Rise and Fall of St. Jib the Eradicator, hero of Morrowind and the savior of the Dawn.
Maybe a shorter title is in order. Let's ask him, how's the work going so far?
Terrible. Simply terrible. I was in the midst of writing the second volume, and they just threw me into this prison. It's unfair.
Who threw you in here?
That damned Remora and his minions. They didn't even give me a chance to explain who I was.
The Dremora? So a Dremora captured you?
I assume so. It cast a spell at me from some kind of strange black crystal.
Yeah, I've got a few of those in my inventory. Found a lot of them here, actually. You were soul trapped.
My what? That means...
You're technically dead.
No. All these wasted months. Or has it been years?
Well, if it was Morrowind, it's been a couple centuries.
No, my work will never see the light of day. My name will be forgotten.
How can I help you?
Perhaps. Do you have a way out of here?
I do, but I don't think you'd be able to leave that way.
Maybe I can't leave. But my writings can. In order to write the second volume of my opus, I need the notes from my first volume. Otherwise, I need to do all of this from memory.
How many pages did you lose?
When I was tossed in here, I felt myself falling, and I dropped the pages I had been holding. There were 10 of them in all. Find them for me, please. I beg you.
Yeah, alrighty. And that gives me impatience of a saint. Why would a Dremora attack you?
Well, that's a ridiculous question. Everyone traveling through here has said that the Oblivion Gates have been opening all over Dalria.
That would be during the Oblivion Crisis. That was a bit before my time.
Has it been that? My. Well, it started with the followers of Mehrunes Dagon, as the Emperor Uriel Septim VII assassinated.
Yeah, that's how Oblivion started.
Father Septim on the throne of the Empire, Dagon was able to leave Oblivion through the gates and attack.
Yeah, he didn't get too far. Why was Dagon able to do that?
All I heard is that without a Septim sitting on the throne of the Empire, the dragon fires in a place called the Temple of the One.
The Temple of the One. Did you ever have a dream, Neo, that you thought was real? Yeah, that... What ended up happening? I wonder what he thinks.
Well, I don't know. Everything seemed fine until that Remora attacked me. I only heard later about the gates from the other souls. I can only assume the gates have been closed by now.
Yeah, they were closed, and, you know, the whole thing was kind of, resolved. Where were you when you were captured?
I had just moved from my ancestral home Morrowind to the continent of Cyrodiil. I settled in the city of Kavach to write my memoirs.
Ah, yes, Kavach was where one of the first Oblivion Gates opens. And that's where you were attacked.
Indeed. One moment I was writing diligently, and the next, my door bursts open. It was a cadre of Dremora. The city was under attack. I took it upon myself to join the cause and fight the Dremora, thinking this would simply be another feather in my cap.
It doesn't look like it worked out that way.
The reason I'm standing in front of you as only a whisper of my former self should tell you that.
Yeah, it does.
I never knew what became of Kvatch. I wonder if they were triumphant without me.
Oh, I'm sure someone saved Kvatch. Don't worry about that.
Thanks again, Cousina. I don't know what I'd do without my pages.
I believe I have a mod installed that will allow me to find all of the pages because it marks them. So, yeah, there should be more pages scattered around. Like right over here, you'll see it marks where the pages are. Makes it so that I can actually find them. This is actually a mod. But yeah, let's see. The Silt Strider bounced me around at full gallop. Finally, with a silent prayer, I released the string. The arrow sang through the air like a howling demon as it sliced its way toward its target. Finally, just as it crested the lip of a foyada, the arrow struck it in the midsection. It let out a horrible cry and fell out of sight. My cries of triumph were... That's 5 out of 10. And because it marks where they are, thanks to the mod I downloaded, I'll be able to find the other 5, and I can bring him back to Jube. Or Jeb, or whatever his name is. Another page of Jube can be found up here, along with a spell tome for Conjure Mistman. Let's see, it lets me conjure a Mistman from the Soul Cairn. We'll try it out. Conjure a Mistman. There we go. Mistman looks like this. It looks like another Mistman, or several, has appeared. Let's go ahead and grab the next part of the opus. Flat of my glass blade. There was no need for the innocent thing to die here today because of my stupidity. As the ash cloud cleared from being stirred up by its massive legs, the cliff racer brood approached. I held my sword high and prepared for the worst. The battle lasted 2 full days. I was beaten, clawed, bitten, and knocked down more times than I care to. I'm sure they all make more sense if you read them in the proper order, but well, the quest won't tell me which one's the proper order. I'm gonna use Diablo to steal a few souls from this place. I wonder what kind of souls I get from these guys. Let's check. Is it common souls? Looks like it. There's Serana taking a couple on. Half-Man, too, who went down in one inferno. Any more? Try to dodge this, Mist Man. Well, then do better. I'm having no problem killing them. What's your excuse? Alright, who's shooting at me? Looks like there's another piece of Jube's opus over here. Step on this thing, which I guess teleports me. Where did it teleport me to, I wonder? Ah. This is where I'm supposed to go to fight the Keeper, I think. Wonder what kind of soul I get from a Keeper. I'm gonna find out. I'm guessing it'll be a Grand Soul. Down you go. Whee! That fall doesn't kill him, I don't know what will. Anyway, I assume I got a Grand Soul from that. Looks like it. Here's the next part of Jib's opus. Read what it says. Strider was tiring, but I couldn't give up. I had sworn to eliminate the foul beasts to the last, and I wasn't about to let it go. If I was going to stop the thing, I'd have to do it fast. I pulled my longbow and knocked my last arrow. Took a deep breath and pulled, trying to keep the cliff racer in my sights. It was literally a long shot with the beast gaining distance. Oops, I want to pick that up. Take Got this Mist Man with Dawnbreaker. Open his chest, get some Grand Souls. There's a ghost up here. Does he have anything to say?
That's the last time I argue with a Dremora.
See, we got a menace with an insatiable hunger that plagued innocent travelers simply trying to get home. It was my self-sworn task to hunt them down one by one and drive them from the skies. Their fury knew no bounds, and their war cry resonated across the land. They were the notorious cliff racers, and they had to be destroyed. On a particularly hot day during sun's height, I was... And that's it for that one. Alright, the next piece is up here. It's being guarded by this thing. So we'll use a soul husk. We'll run up, loot their chest. A soul essence gem, which is full. Interesting. I wonder what this is. Take it. It gave me a black soul gem. But it also over-encumbered me. Alright, no problem. I'll just have to deep storage. There's the piece of the thing I need. It says minutes, but I finally managed to do it. As my eyes adjust to the dim light of my new surroundings, I realized that I was standing before Lord Vivek himself. He was simply staring at me, floating above his throne and staring at me with his piercing eyes. When I began to prostrate myself as a sign of respect, he held up one of his hands as if to say it wasn't necessary. Was I dead? Was Lord Vivek pleased with me? Was he... Alright, I should be close to the last piece of the Jube thing. It's right over here. And here, next to some gold, another chest, some more stuff in it. And you? I got something for you. I'm gonna conjure a golden saint warrior. And I'll pull out Dawnbreaker and finish you off. Don't know where the golden saint warrior is. But down you go. Now we can read Jeeves' Opus, page 6. Quickly stifled by the sound of over 100 wings, rising from the Foyata was an entire colony of cliff racers, and they were out for blood. The blasted thing had led me right to their nest and sacrificed itself with the intent of feeding me to its brood. It was a trap. The damned things had become much too clever. Knowing this was likely the end, I jumped down from the silt strider and hit the back of its leg with the... Now I can return all the pieces of the Opus to Jib. So, back to Jib to finish this convoluted quest.
You did it. You have all of my pages.
I do. Here they all are.
Finally. I never thought I'd see these again. Those pages meant the world to me. Thank you.
So, what happens now?
Now, Volume 2 begins. What else?
I'll be off then.
Oh, wait a moment. Here, I want you to have these before you go. A pristine copy of my book. Only one in print, actually. And take this as well. Seeing as St. Jib has ascended to pure spiritual form, I won't need it any longer.
Alright, so I give them all 10 of the pages. What do I get in return for them all? St. Jube's Opus. And that's it. That's all I get. Oh, and a Locket of St. Jib. What's this? It gives me a 50 to carrying capacity and increases stamina by 50 points. Not too bad of a necklace there. Really good if you want to carry a lot of stuff like I'm currently doing. Alright, so we return to Valerica. Now that we've broken the barrier.
You managed to destroy all 3 keepers? Very impressive.
Well, when you've been to hell itself, a place like this isn't that bad. So, do we get the scroll now?
Yes. Please follow me.
Alright then.
Watch for Dernevere. With the prison's barrier down, he's almost certain to investigate.
I'm not worried about Dernevere.
I don't think I could be doing this alone.
Yeah, you mentioned that. So now we follow Valerica into the boneyard.
Wait. I hear something. Where do
Alright, there's Durnavir. Of course, I've got Dragon Rend. I also have my Dragon Bane. Drop these arrows. Draw Dragon Bane. You want some of this, Durnavir? See how tough you really are. I've defeated Alduin, so I don't expect you to be much tougher. Got him. Dragon Rend should bring him down. He is a dragon. Yep, here he comes. Here I come. With this piece of cake. Can I get some dragon bones or anything from him? Can't search him. Can I absorb his soul? I guess not. Well, I defeated him.
Forgive my astonishment, but I never thought I'd witness the death of that dragon.
Really? What makes you say that?
Volumes written on Durnavir allege that he can't be slain by normal means. Is that a mistake?
Well, I am the Dragonborn. Go on.
The soul of a dragon is as resilient as its owner's scaly hide. It's possible that your killing blow has merely displaced Durnavir's physical form while he reconstitutes himself.
Well, that would explain why I didn't get his soul. How long will that take?
Minutes, hours, years. I can't even begin to guess. I suggest we don't wait around to find out. Now, let's get you the Elder Scroll and you can go.
Alright, sounds like a plan. That's what you said. I'm gonna follow Valerica to get the scroll. Valerica, you might want to be on this side. There you go. Push you along to go to the right place. Alright, retrieve the Elder Scroll. There it is, the Elder Scroll Blood. Let's take that.
That's the last scroll. Come on, let's take it to Dexy.
Alright then. I've completed Find the Elder Scroll Blood.
Now that you've retrieved the Elder Scroll, you should be on your way.
Yeah, I
Now
should.
that you've retrieved the Elder Scroll,
You gonna repeat that while I loot your place?
I think I could be doing this now.
Really? I think I'd have been just fine here.
I
Alright.
can't believe we found my mother.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Your mother's actually a vampire. Do I have to talk to her?
now that you've retrieved the Elder Scroll, you should be on your way.
I assume you're gonna stay here then.
I have no choice. As I told you before, I'm a daughter of Cold Harbor. If I return to Tamriel, that increases Harkon's likelihood of bringing the tyranny of the sun to fruition.
Alright. I guess we'll come back for you when we're done.
I appreciate your concern for me, but Serana is independent. You must keep her safe at all costs. Remember that Harkon is not to be trusted.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna trust him.
He'll deceive you in order to get what he wants. You promise me you'll keep my daughter safe. She's the only thing of value I have left.
Alright. Now we get to return to Tamriel. I'll just be making my way back towards the entrance to the Soul Cairn, as strong as before, now that I've...
Your weapons. I would speak with you, Quinari.
Oh, hello. I was gonna end my video here, but it looks like Durnavir wants to talk to me. Didn't I already defeat you?
Cursed, not dead. Doomed to exist in this form for eternity. Trapped between Laas and Enoch. Between life and death.
Why are we speaking then?
I believe in civility among seasoned warriors, and I find your ear worthy of my words.
Well, I guess so.
My claws have rendered the flesh of innumerable foes, but I have never once been felled on the field of battle.
Not so easily either, I
Therefore,
imagine.
will name you Quanarin, or Vanquisher in your tongue.
I find you equally worthy.
Your words do me great honor. My desire to speak with you was born from the result of our battle, Quanarin. I merely wish to respectfully ask a favor of you.
A favor, huh? What kind of favor?
For countless years I've roamed the Soul Cairn in unintended service to the Ideal Masters. Before this, I roamed the skies above Tamriel. I desire to return there.
Okay, what's stopping you from going back?
I fear that my time here has taken its toll upon me. I share a bond with this dreaded place. If I ventured far from the Soul Cairn, my strength would begin to wane until I was no more.
Alright, how can I help you leave?
I will place my name with you and grant you the right to call my name from Tamriel. Do me this simple honor, and I will fight at your side as your Graze Mazen, your ally, and teach you my food.
Alright, so I just have to call your name in Tamriel to summon you, right?
Trivial in your mind, perhaps. For me, it would mean a great deal. I don't require an answer, Quanarin. Simply speak my name to the heavens when you feel the time is right.
Alrighty then. How did you end up in the Soul Cairn?
There was a time when I called Tamriel my home, but those days have long since passed. The Nova roamed the skies, vying for their small slices of territory that resulted in immense and ultimately fatal battles.
And you were a part of all that.
I was. But unlike some of my brethren, I sought solutions outside the norm in order to maintain my superiority. I began to explore what the Dova call Elok Dilan, the ancient forbidden art that you call necromancy.
So you sought the Soul Cairn for answers on necromancy.
The Ideal Masters assured me that my powers would be unmatched, that I could raise legions of the undead. In return, I was to serve them as a keeper until the death of the one who calls herself Valerica.
They didn't tell you that she was a vampire and that she won't just die of old age, did they?
I discovered too late that the Ideal Masters favor deception over honor, and had no intention of releasing me from my binding. They had control of my mind, but fortunately they couldn't possess my soul.
And that's why you're free now?
Free? No. I have been here too long, Quanarin. The Soul Cairn has become a part of what I am. I can never fully call Tamriel my home again, or I would surely perish. I only hope that you will allow me the precious moments of time there, through your call.
Alright then.
Come on, let's go home.
So yeah, I got a new dragon buddy, Durnavir here. He wants me to call his name outside of the Soul Cairn, and he said in return he would teach me another shout. His name is apparently Curse Never Dying. And, yeah, alright. So I'll go ahead and unlock his shout. Summon Durnavir. First I got Oda Ving, and now I have Durnavir. So yeah, once I leave the Soul Cairn, I'll call on him and see what word of power he can teach me. But yeah, first I have to leave the Soul Cairn, which won't be too hard. I just have to head back to the portal and take it back out. So in the next part, we'll be leaving the Soul Cairn, and we'll return to Castle Volkihar. We'll summon Durnavir outside the Soul Cairn to get his word of power, and we'll find out the rest of the prophecy of the tyranny of the sun, so we can stop Harkon from making it come to pass. So, for now, I'll thank you all for watching, and I'll see you for the next video.